Think about the last time someone ignored your message. Maybe they left you on read. Maybe they walked past you without saying hello. It probably annoyed you. But here's the strange part. Your brain reacts to being ignored in almost the exact same way it reacts to physical pain. In other words, rejection doesn't just feel painful. To your brain, it actually is. Most people assume this is emotional, something happening in your mind, something you should be able to control if you're mentally strong enough. But that's not what the science says. And the real reason humans hate being ignored is much older than social media, texting, or even civilization itself. To understand it, we have to go back thousands of years. Because for most of human history, being ignored wasn't embarrassing. It was dangerous. Imagine you were born 50,000 years ago. No cities, no hospitals, no police, no supermarkets. Just a small tribe wandering across a landscape that wanted to kill you. Every meal depended on other people. Every fire depended on other people. Every source of protection depended on other people. Alone, you died. A single human could not reliably hunt large animals. A single human could not stay awake all night watching for predators. A single human could not survive serious injury. Your tribe wasn't part of your life. It was your life. And this created something fascinating. Natural selection began treating social rejection as a survival threat, not a metaphorical threat, a real one. The humans who felt intense distress when excluded were more likely to repair social relationships. And the humans who repaired social relationships were more likely to survive. Generation after generation, that system became stronger, until eventually your brain started treating social pain almost like physical pain. But that's not just a theory. Scientists actually tested it. In 2003, researchers Naomi Eisenberger, Matthew Lieberman, and Kipling Williams ran an experiment that would become one of the most famous studies in social psychology. Participants entered a brain scanner and played a simple virtual ball tossing game. At first, everything felt normal. The other players passed them the ball, they participated, they felt included. Then something changed. Without warning, the other players stopped throwing them the ball entirely. The participant remained in the game, but nobody acknowledged them. Nobody included them. They were being ignored. And the brain scans revealed something unexpected. The dorsal anterior cingulate cortex became active. This is one of the same regions involved in processing physical pain. The researchers weren't looking at hurt feelings. They were observing a system that evolved to recognize threats to survival. Think about that for a second. Your brain evolved in a world where social exclusion could mean death. And millions of years later, it still responds as if the threat is real. But here's what's fascinating. Being ignored often hurts more than being disliked. At least when someone dislikes you, they're acknowledging your existence. Ignoring you is different. Ignoring someone communicates something much darker. It suggests they don't matter. Psychologists call this ostracism, and humans are unusually sensitive to it. In study after study, people who are ignored show increases in anxiety, anger, sadness, and stress hormones. Even brief periods of exclusion can affect mood, and the effect appears almost immediately. What's strange is that your brain reacts before your conscious mind has time to explain what's happening. You don't choose to feel hurt. The system activates automatically, almost like touching a hot stove. But that's only half the story, because being ignored doesn't just hurt, it changes the way people behave. And the consequences are stranger than you might think. Humans aren't the only species that suffer when they're excluded. In the 1950s, psychologist Harry Harlow ran a series of controversial experiments on rhesus monkeys. The monkeys were given food, they were healthy, they were safe. But some were raised without meaningful social connection. The results were devastating. Many developed severe anxiety. Some rocked back and forth for hours. Others became incapable of normal social relationships for the rest of their lives. They weren't starving. They weren't injured. They were isolated. And their minds began to break anyway. This revealed something scientists hadn't fully understood before. Social connection isn't a luxury. It's a biological need. Your brain treats belonging the same way it treats food, water, and shelter. Take it away long enough, and the system starts failing. Not metaphorically, literally. But the story gets even stranger, because social rejection doesn't only affect emotions, it changes behavior. Researchers have found that excluded people become more likely to imitate others, more likely to seek approval, more likely to conform. Why? Because your brain is trying to solve a problem. Its goal is simple: get back into the group. For most of history, belonging increased survival. So after rejection, your mind begins searching for ways to reconnect. Sometimes this is helpful. Sometimes it isn't. Many of the decisions people regret later in life begin with the fear of exclusion. People stay in unhealthy friendships, they tolerate toxic relationships, they hide parts of themselves. They abandon personal goals, not because they want to, but because being alone feels dangerous. And in a sense, it is. Humans are among the most social creatures on Earth. Your brain contains systems specifically designed for connection. When those systems are deprived, the effects can become surprisingly severe. Loneliness increases the risk of depression. It increases stress. It can even affect physical health. But if social connection is so important, why does modern life seem filled with loneliness? The answer might be that our environment changed faster than our brains could adapt. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans lived in small groups. Most people knew everyone around them. Social relationships were direct, face-to-face, constant. Then, civilization happened. Cities appeared. Technology arrived. And eventually, billions of people became connected without actually becoming close. Today, a person can have thousands of followers and still feel invisible. Hundreds of contacts and still feel alone. Because your brain isn't measuring numbers, it's measuring belonging. And those are not the same thing. A notification isn't the same as friendship. A follower isn't the same as connection. The ancient systems inside your mind still expect something older, something human, something they evolved to recognize. And when they don't find it, they respond with pain. But here's the part nobody talks about. The pain itself serves a purpose. Physical pain exists to protect your body. Social pain exists to protect your relationships. Both are warning systems. Both tell you something needs attention. Neither exists to punish you. They exist to keep you alive. And once you understand that, rejection starts to look different. The pain isn't proof that something is wrong with you. It's evidence that your brain is doing exactly what it evolved to do. For hundreds of thousands of years, your ancestors gathered around fires. They slept beside one another, hunted together, raised children together, survived together. Belonging wasn't a preference. It was survival. Today, the predators are mostly gone. The forests are gone. The tribes are gone. But the system remains. Still running. Still asking the same ancient question. Every time a message goes unanswered. Every time a room falls silent. Every time you feel invisible. Not, am I popular? Not, do they like me? But something much older. If nobody sees me, can I survive alone? And after hundreds of thousands of years, your brain still knows the answer. No human ever could.